Hello, everyone, and welcome to this webinar, The Art of Leaving, a conversation with Ayelet Tsabari, sponsored by the UCLA YNS Nazarian Center for Israel Studies in partnership with American Jewish University's B'Yachad Together program and the Helen Diller Institute for Jewish Law and Israel Studies at UC Berkeley. I'm Maura, the Executive Director of the Nazarian Center, and it's my great pleasure to be hosting today's program and introducing our speakers. In addition to our program partners, I also want to acknowledge our UCLA co-sponsors, the Department of English and the Department of Comparative Literature. We welcome all of our audience members from the US, Canada, Israel, and around the world. First, let me introduce our featured guest, award-winning writer Ayelet Tsabari. She's the author of the Memoir in Essays, The Art of Leaving, winner of the Canadian Jewish Literary Award, a finalist for the Hilary Weston Writers' Trust Prize, and an Apple Books and Kirkus Review Best Book of 2019. Described in one of its many accolades as, quote, tender and fearless, The Art of Leaving movingly explores longing and loss and questions of identity and home. The book has already been translated into several languages and will soon be translated into Arabic. Ayelet's first book, The Best Place on Earth, won the Sami Rohr Prize for Jewish Literature and was a New York Times Book Review Editor's Choice and has been published internationally. Ayelet was born in Israel to a large family of Yemeni descent. She grew up in Petah Tikva, a town outside of Tel Aviv, served in the Israeli army, and traveled extensively throughout Southeast Asia, Europe, and North America. She lived for many years in Canada, where she studied writing and filmmaking, and she wrote her first story in English in 2006. Currently, Ayelet lives in Israel. She teaches creative writing at the University of King's College MFA program, the University of Guelph Writing MFA program, and at Tel Aviv University. After we hear from Ayelet, she'll be joined for a conversation by our distinguished discussant, Rabbi and Professor Miriyam Glazer. Dr. Glazer is Emerita Professor of Literature at American Jewish University, where she created and chaired the Literature, Communication, and Media Department for many years. Prior to that, Dr. Glazer chaired the Foreign Literatures Department at Ben-Gurion University in Beersheba, Israel. She's published many essays and book chapters on Jewish literature, as well as on nature, gender, and spirituality in Judaism and Jewish culture. Her books include Dreaming the Actual, Contemporary Fiction and Poetry by Israeli Women Writers, and Psalms of the Jewish Liturgy, a guide to their beauty, power, and meaning. After Ayelet and Miriyam's conversation, there'll be time for audience questions, so I encourage you to type your questions into the Q&A function on Zoom, and we'll try to get to as many as we can. So without further ado, please welcome Ayelet Tsabari.
Thank you so much, Maura. I am so excited to be here today. I mean, here in my home, but with all of you everywhere. Thank you for inviting me, and thank you all for coming. I'm actually going to start by reading a short excerpt from the book. I'm going to give you a little bit of a preamble. It's from an essay toward the end of the book titled Not for the Faint-Hearted. When I was living in Canada, I started to feel more drawn to my past. I guess I needed something to anchor me in the foreign settings, in the foreign language too. And I found myself really missing home, missing my family, missing my grandmother and my heritage. So whenever and I think some of it was about being an immigrant too, right? So I could really relate to the experiences of my grandmother, see her in a new light, understand her in ways I could not before. So I started asking my grandmother, whenever I went home, I started asking her questions. And I recorded her on video, and I'm so glad I did that, because a few years after that, she passed away. And when I was writing this book, I was able to lift entire conversations and actually just, I mean, I had to translate them, but just word for word. And this excerpt that I'm going to read starts with one of those conversations. I never know if it does her justice, like the translation, but also if I managed to capture her spirit. but this is my attempt. Today, Savta is not in the mood. She scowls at the lens pointing at her face, her answers curt. When I ask her about the trip to Israel, she says, "We walked. It was long." How long? She jerks her chin. Long. Years? No, not years. Months? Yes. 2 months or 6 months? I don't know. I was very sick. She sighs somberly. I was suffering. What did you have? I was sick all the years, even today. Today you're old, but then you were young. Then also I had many problems. Like what? Sick, sick, she raises her voice. Sometimes this, sometimes that. But the kids were okay, thank God. I gave birth okay, thank God. And I took care of them, even though I was sick. She swats a fly. Finished? We were around the same age when we left our homes and set out on a journey to a new country. But while my grandmother uprooted her life for the dream of a promised land, the home the Jews of Yemen believed they were destined for, the one place in which they could truly be free, I was an accidental immigrant. I did not relocate to Canada. I drifted there. And even then, I was unable to fully settle, continued to seesaw, 1 foot here and 1 foot there, spending months at a time in Israel and taking off traveling in between. I titled my bank account during those years of travel, the Wandering Jew Fund. And indeed, there is something deeply Jewish about that somber, nostalgic yearning for a place where one can feel at home. Of course, historically, that pining was pointed toward Israel, the same country I had chosen to leave. I'm skipping a little bit. I picture my grandmother arriving in Palestine, bewildered by this new place and its pale-skinned Jews, men without side curls holding hands with scarfless women in khaki shorts, and their language, staccato and strange. Hebrew? Yiddish? I think of my first time landing in North America, the language chewy and clunky in my mouth. Despite knowing English from school, I felt powerless and isolated, frustrated at not being able to express myself with the richness and precision I'd been accustomed to. Savta, unlike my grandfather who knew Hebrew from prayer, had to learn Hebrew from scratch. In Israel, Yemeni immigrants gained a reputation for being intrinsically naive, demure, and so nice, seemingly positive stereotypes that were in fact belittling, as if they were children or the nation's pets. But my grandmother wasn't nice. She was a strong, feisty woman who spoke her mind. A feminist, my aunt once called her. She often scolded her twin sister Saida, telling her to stand up for herself, to not let her husband control her. She walked away from a polygamous marriage that didn't suit her. How did it feel to be so voiceless? Many years later, I will find out about the women's songs, a form of oral poetry that Jewish Yemeni women composed and sang in Arabic and performed in birth and henna ceremonies, while doing housework or craft work. Through these poems, the women voiced their heartaches and sorrows. They lamented their lost youth, wept over their fate as child brides, pined for their parents' home, complained about a hostile first wife. The songs were memorized, constantly rewritten, and passed on from mother to daughter. It was their form of protest, a poetry of dissent. But that tradition was largely discontinued upon arrival in Israel. It never made it to my generation. Growing up, I never heard Savta sing, although my youngest uncle remembered her singing to him while doing her housework, her voice lovely and filled with deep sadness. When I learned about that rich literary tradition I hadn't even known existed, hadn't known I belonged to, a tradition now on the verge of extinction, I will pay a Yemeni singer in Israel to teach me these songs. and the Yemeni words of my ancestors will roll out of my mouth effortlessly, as though they've been waiting for me to utter them all along. I will sing with my mother and my aunts, and they will look at me and each other, amazed that I know these songs, that I can pronounce the Yemeni words, and that I cared enough to learn, chose to be a part of them, and allowed them to be a part of me. And I will wish my grandmother were there to hear me speaking her language. I will wish she were there to join us in singing. I will stop here. Thank you. I always get emotional at that final line. So yes, I was born and raised in Israel to a family of Yemeni descent. My grandparents had immigrated to Israel in the 1930s, and I was an avid reader growing up. But in all the books that I read and loved, I've never seen a character like me, and I never knew of a Yemeni author. My literary heroines were all Ashkenazi and fair skin. The books that I loved and cherished as a child were all written by Ashkenazi authors. And in school, the books they assigned to us told Ashkenazi stories. And even in history classes, very little was mentioned in terms of Mizrahi history, so that by the time I graduated from high school, I could cite the dates of the European immigration to Israel in great detail, but knew next to nothing about my own heritage. Not seeing myself in Israeli literature in the books they assigned to us in school and history classes told me that my family's narrative, our story, our memory, our voices didn't matter. When I was growing up, my father was my biggest fan. He grew up in a Yemeni neighborhood, lived with 7 siblings in a tiny bungalow with no electricity. He worked all day, and at night he studied under the street lamps, sitting on the curb for his exams. And he was also a writer. He was a closeted poet who ended up giving up his literary dreams to pursue a more rational career. He became a lawyer. My father passed away when I was 10, and after he passed away, I went to his office, his law office in the Petah Tikva, where I'm from. I just wanted to spend some time with his things, to like soak up his energy and just be where he spent most of his days. And I started opening drawers and looking at books and things, and I found a notebook in the bottom drawer in his office, and it was his poetry. It was all yellow and crinkling. And I kept it under my pillow for a couple of days before I eventually handed it over to my mother, and they ended up, his friends ended up publishing it. But there was one poem in it in which he hears whispers that tell him to burn it all. A voice that says, and I'm of course translating, "A poet's craft is an artist's kingdom, not for you, son of Yemen." And that line breaks my heart. I knew there were no Yemeni poets in Israel at the time, no published Yemeni poets in Israel at the time. My father had no role model in our community to look up to. And then I moved to Canada. I was 25. And I learned in Vancouver, where I lived at the time, that for a Canadian, Jewish meant delis and lox and matzo ball soups. Most people I met in Vancouver had never met a Yemeni Jew, knew nothing of Mizrahi traditions. I remember the local paper actually acknowledged Passover in an article. That was a big deal because usually big holidays would come and go. The community was so small that there would be nothing. There would be no mention of it. And I was pleased, and I picked up the newspaper and I read through it. And the entire article focused on different methods of preparing matzo ball soup. And at that time in my life, I never even had a matzo ball soup. In my family, we eat spicy fish for Passover. We eat Yemeni soup with hilba and srog. Most people who, upon learning I was Jewish, asked me if I spoke Yiddish. They stared at me confused and said, "But you look like an Arab." And I had to explain that, well, we are in a sense. I told them my grandmother lived amongst Muslim Arabs in a small village near the Saudi border, that she spoke Arabic in Yemeni, Judeo-Yemeni dialect and Little Hebrew until the end of her days, and that she wouldn't know a matzo ball if it hit her in the face. And then I started reading in English. I found that the portrayal of Jewish experience in English language literature was even narrower than it was in Hebrew, in Israel. There were never any Iraqi Jews or Ethiopian Jews or Tunisian Jews. No wonder people in Canada were so confused by me. And then 14 years ago, every time I have to recalculate, 14 years ago, I started to write in English. Trying to describe that switch from Hebrew to English is difficult for me because it was not a definite moment, nor was it a clear decision. It's something that happened, and it just happened gradually. When I first moved to Canada, I couldn't comprehend writing in a foreign language. I didn't think my vocabulary or my grammar were up to par. In fact, they were not up to par. And I found reading in English extremely difficult at the time. So at the same time, though, I wasn't writing in Hebrew so much because I wasn't living in Hebrew. So I had to go through a few difficult years of not writing at all. I thought at the time that I was suffering from a writer's block, but as I tell my students all the time, writer's block is basically fear, and I was terrified of taking such a leap into a new language. Looking back, I think that it was more of a limbo, really. Like the writer in me had to die a little bit in order to be reborn in a new language, and that was a painful and lengthy process. So for a while, I wrote intermittently in both languages. The languages just kind of bled into each other. It was incoherent and no one could read it. But I also started to feel excited and enamored with the English language and its newness. Samuel Beckett was asked in 1954 why he chose to write in a second language, because he wrote in French. And he said, out of a need to be ill-equipped. And I love that answer because I realized that I needed to be ill-equipped because I thrive on challenges. It keeps me on my toes. It keeps me humble. For me, English was a clean slate, and our lack of attachment and shared history made for a fresh affair and gave space for invention and for fantasy. I also found comfort in the anonymity it afforded me. And in addition, there was also the issue of constraint. I had to express myself in fewer words, which is an excellent exercise in constraint. So to me, the experience of writing in a second language runs parallel to the experience of searching for a home and searching for self. It was like migration, an act of reinvention. The same issues that I constantly write about, both in my fiction and in my nonfiction. Stylistically, I think the biggest challenge for me when I started writing in English was to allow myself to be all the things that I am, to be an Israeli, Jewish, Yemeni, Mizrahi, immigrant writer, and let it all show in my writing and in my voice. When I first started writing in English, I noticed there was this recurring theme in the feedback that I was receiving from peers mostly. They often told me my sentences were too long, my images were too sentimental, my dialogue was too direct. So, as a good student that I am, I began studying text religiously and reading books and literary magazines and tried to emulate their style and changing my own style to fit what I thought was the North American standards. And as I said, I was a good student. I managed to sort of force my fiction into submission, but I wasn't happy. Something felt wrong. Something was missing. It was a growing sense of self-betrayal. I realized that by strictly adhering to a set of rules and changing my style to molding it into what I thought was the convention, I actually went against my nature. So I was no longer telling the truth. My Yemeni, Jewish, Israeli upbringing, my heritage, my mother tongue, the collective memory of my people had all shaped my personality, which in turn informed my work. And I'm not talking just in terms of themes, but also in terms of style. It was in everything. It was threaded. It reflected even in things like, word choice. Poet Roni Somek, the Iraqi poet, once gave an example of how that works. He said, while English writers may compare a red sunset to rose, and French poets would compare it to wine, Israeli poets would compare it to blood. And that's just an example of how where you're from can affect something like word choice. Many of the rules that I actually struggled to implement in my writing didn't even make sense when you situated them in an Israeli context. For example, in the first fiction class I've taken, I was told that dialogue must always have subtext, that people always say one thing but mean another. Now, those of you who know Israelis know that that's often not the case. They tell you exactly what they mean, whether you want to hear it or not. I think Israeli writing tends to be more sentimental, more passionate, because Israelis are passionate people. They're intense people. We prefer watching, telenovelas over days of our lives because we see ourselves more reflected in that temperament. And I think my love of narrative and of story, of writing exposition, of writing summary, is inspired by a history of oral storytelling, since as the Yemeni Jew, that was the tradition, the literary tradition that I came from. Finally, I think transience and belonging are very Jewish themes. Jewish writing often has this nostalgic and sometimes somber tone and a sense of longing because our collective history is a series of losses and migrations and wars haunts our present. Toni Morrison said, if there's a book you want to read, but it hasn't been written yet, then you must write it. Things have improved in Israel, since my father's time and definitely since my childhood. But still very few Mizrahi writers have made it into the Israeli canon or the school curriculum. The history they teach kids in Israel is still very Eurocentric. As an Israeli of Yemeni descent, I wanted to complicate and expand people's views of Israel and of Jewishness. It was my mission to write Mizrahi characters, to create Jewish heroines in fiction where, whose skin color ranged from olive to brown, whose grandparents spoke Arabic and not Yiddish. I created for myself, I was rectifying my childhood experience and creating those characters that were missing from my childhood stories and from the Jewish narratives I later found in English. Characters like my father, like my grandmother, and myself. I wrote the book I wanted to read. Thank you, everyone. And I think we're going to move on to our conversation.
Okay, it is lovely, lovely. By this book, by your story, by the very profound spiritual and emotional and very womanly themes that the book expresses. And I'm very moved, particularly since the immigrant experience is something that so many of us have experienced. and what we bring and what we're asked to leave behind and what is valued in the new country and what is devalued in the new country is something many of us have had to deal with. And in an age that we're living in now, an age of so many refugees, more and more people are having to deal with
That's
that.
right.
So listening to your story is really powerful, and reading your story it has been a very moving experience for me.
Thank you.
I want to talk to begin with about what we mean by home. What is it? Is home always, a relative term? Is home always as compared to wandering? Or do we have an illusion about ever being entirely at home once we're out of the womb? Is there ever a home? And what attributes of home have you come to cherish?
Mm-hmm.
What attributes of home have you let go? Wishful attributes of home have you let go of?
Yeah. Wow. Big guns right from the start. It's something that obviously, fascinates me because I write about it all the time. And I feel like my fascination with home is something that came earlier on. I don't think it's just because I write about it. Obviously, it's not. It came before the migration. In fact, maybe the immigration happened because of my fascination with home. I feel that losing my father at a young age has a lot to do with that. When you lose a parent at an age where your identity is still very much entwined with theirs, which is what happened to me. The old Yemeni women in the neighborhood, when you walk by them, they say, "Bat miat," daughter of whom are you? It's that weird syntax, bat miat. And that's how they place you. This is where you belong, right? So it felt like when I lost my father, there was the sense of home was fractured. The ground literally, fell from underneath me, but also the walls have, collapsed as well. So I think that was for me the first moment of feeling without a home, feeling unsure about, the meaning of home. And I think that is kind of what shaped me and made me wander and wonder throughout life and seeking that. I'm not convinced that home is a place. When I sometimes say, and it is true because, and I've said it in the book as well, that absolutely it's family. And that is, by the way, I'm sorry if I'm stealing a question you might ask later. That is why I'm back here. Right? Because it's suddenly the realization of what I'm losing and what I already lost in those many years of being away. But I also think for me, home is the page. Absolutely. It's the one thing that stays with me. It's the one thing I come back to. It's the one, it lifts me up. Like I find myself, the level of comfort, there's something very steady. And when I didn't have that, I was miserable. I felt very afloat.
Let's talk about the home as the page, okay?
Yeah.
Is the home the page when you write in English? Or is the page when you write in Hebrew? What language makes the page home?
That's a good question.
Page written in English.
I think I think it is. I think it's beyond language for me.
So
You know,
tell us about what it means to find home on a page, no matter which language you're using.
yeah.
Help us understand that more.
You know, when I first moved to Canada, like I said, I didn't think that I was able or will ever be able to write in English, nor did I really want to. You know, I was very rooted in the Hebrew language and I loved it. And I already wrote since I was a very small child. I was writing and publishing, you know, in children's magazine, teen magazines, and I was a journalist. It was Hebrew was it. And I met this woman on a beach in Victoria, BC, and she was a writer too. And she said, "Oh, I would love to read, you know, what you write one day." And I thought to myself, well, I actually said that. I said, "It's not going to happen. I write in Hebrew." And she said, "Well, maybe you can write in English." And I was like, "Ha!" I thought, you know, she's crazy. You know, like obviously I can't do that. In my mind, you know, I had to first, and I actually said that to her. First, you have to be as good as the average English speaker, just like a native speaker, and then you have to become even better. That was my 25-year-old logic. And then she said, "I don't think that's how it works. I think you already have the skill, and it's like changing mediums, like from watercolors to acrylic. So yes, you have to learn some new things, but your skill is there, and that doesn't change." I absolutely did not believe her at the time, but I see that now. I see that now. I actually, you know, well, she was right. You know, my partner would tell you that I don't like to say that, but she was right and I was wrong. Because I don't like that people love to decide, do you come to writing from the love of language or from the love of stories? I don't like that. I love stories and I love language. But the wanting to tell stories is something that I've had even before I had the language. I started out drawing comics, right, and narrating them. When I came to Canada and I couldn't write, I told stories via, you know, photographs, and I learned film because I still wanted to tell stories. So I think that's the one thing that stays in any language. So yes, I feel like it's beyond. Yes, I feel probably now more at home writing in English than I am in Hebrew. But I have written in Hebrew in the past few years too, when requested, you know, with trepidation, but I did it. You know.
It's fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating that writing in English has become an opportunity for you to voice the stories that mean something to you most, rather than a facility with Hebrew, which is your childhood language. It's very beautiful, it seems to me, and it really speaks to the power of languages that we adopt as the vehicle through which we can most richly express ourselves. It is also lacking the memories of the native language. And it seems to me, especially in your story, where the stories that you can tell of that happened as a child were many of them stories of loss and of erasure. Whereas when you tell the story in English, you're reinventing them and bringing them back into the world.
Yeah, so the distance.
The distance is so liberating.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated by your relationship to your grandmother and her importance in your life. And I think many of us who are the children of immigrants or of second generation, our grandparents were immigrants, have special bonds with those who came from an entirely different world. And so I would like you to share something of what you think the power of her having come from an entirely different world, the power of that for you.
Well, yes, you're right. It's such a different world. And I think like the gulf between us was just, it seemed insurmountable at times, like this is a woman who, when she married, when she was 12, everything about us and of course there was a language gap as well. Like we couldn't communicate very well. And that's, again, the irony of it is that I had to go very far away to find her, because as a child, I write in the book, hanging out with her was not my idea of a good time. And it was not. First, we couldn't actually talk. Secondly, like some other grandmothers that my girlfriends in school, they would take them to movies or cafes, and they wore lipstick. She was very diasporic, very foreign, like in the way she was dressed, and her house was very bare, stark almost, like there was no toys or decorations. Everything was simple. Everything was very basic. It was just I didn't have obviously I didn't have a common language, but not just in the language. It was just beyond that. I could not find any common ground with her. So it took me to go that far across the world to suddenly be like, oh wow, I can relate to her struggles now. Like I understand, I can imagine how hard it was for her to arrive in this new place, without the language skills. Everything is different. The weather is different. My grandfather built a mud hut when he came, because that's what they did in Yemen. Of course, Israel was way wetter than, more humid than it was over there. So everything was different. And only it took me going to Canada to kind of grasp that, I think, and come back crawling to her, seeking her wisdom and seeking her company. And I'm so lucky that I managed to do that before it was too late.
Your description of her story in your book is so beautiful and so moving. And it really does awaken the reader to a completely different world than anything we know. The leaving of children behind, the marrying at 12 in order to protect you, the tragedies and the difficulties and the challenges of Jewish life in Yemen. We really, the Jewish world knows very, very little about Jewish Yemeni experience. And you're quite right. I mean, it's not taught in Jewish studies, and it's just not taught. Really, what we know is great silversmiths, right? That's it. So I think it's very, very, very important what you've done is to rebirth that story in the book. And I hope you do more of it. I really
absolutely.
More.
Absolutely.
We need to know. We need to broaden the Jewish experience, understand the multiplicity of it. It's so rich.
Yeah.
I want to go back to the Freicha. I don't know if our listeners know what a Freicha is. They must know what a Jewish American princess, the curse that I grew up with, was. But tell us about the Freicha. Tell us about overcoming the Freicha with your Yemenite singer.
Sure. So the frecha is a derogatory term, and it stems from a name. Actually, it's a North African name. Frecha was a common name back in the day. It is no longer a common name because it became a derogatory term. And at first, it was directed toward, Mizrahi girls, North African and other Mizrahi girls. But it was more than that. It meant someone who was had a certain fashion, kind of a lowbrow kind of style, loud patterns, long nails, lots of makeup, a little bit loud, just not classy, promiscuous, and so on. Everything a young woman does not want to be called and does not want to be confused for. And I remember my realization at some point that I'm at risk. Unlike my Ashkenazi friends, I'm at risk. I can't wear certain things that they can. I can't do these things to my hair. I cannot wear red lipstick. Animal prints, big no. So that's kind of what I grew up into. And I knew that kind of in my bones. It wasn't like anyone had to tell me. It wasn't something my mom expressed to me at all. In fact, my mom wasn't really that. I'm a fifth child. So, and she suffered a great loss. She was less interested in, say, what I'm wearing or that wasn't a concern to her. More my grades and things like that. So yes, in the book, I speak about Ofra Chaza, who's a wonderful singer of Yemeni descent, and she performed that song, the Frecha song, and it became a huge hit in Israel. And eventually, by the way, I think I mentioned it in the book, she stopped singing it. She felt she wanted to distance herself from it. I used to think like, oh, she's reclaiming it or something like that. But it wasn't a song that she wrote. She didn't really stand behind the words. The song was written by Asi Dayan, son of Moshe Dayan. It was like, it was from a very specific male, Ashkenazi, very privileged, son again of Moshe Dayan lens. And she decided she didn't want to be associated with that song anymore. But yeah, it was something that I grew up trying to dispel and kind of like the evil eye, like something I wanted to keep away from. And that meant, dressing the very opposite, become a hippie, like make sure no one ever thinks about that, because that would be the worst thing that, people may think of you. And still people, I was still called that, despite how much I tried to disassociate. So that's
Is that still part of the culture, do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's one of the biggest argument you'll find on Facebook and social media and things like that is a lot of people love to say it's no longer racial. Frecha is a behavior. And still, people often say things like a Russian frecha or an Ashkenazi frecha. And I'm like, once you have to add that word to it, that means that the default is not that the default is still Mizrahi. And also it's just the way it's represented, in TV and in the media. It's still a very narrow representation. So I still think it's an issue that needs to be dealt with for sure.
Yeah, we grew up in this country haunted by the Jewish American princess.
Yeah.
Created by male Jewish writers. And many of us carried that burden of trying to prove that we're not Jewish American princesses.
Yeah.
We don't expect everything to be done for us. So what's interesting to me is we don't have stereotypes like that for Jewish men or Moroccan men, do we?
We do. In Israel, we do. Unfortunately. Yeah, the Als. right? So it goes both ways in Israel.
So it's not just a misogynist.
No, it is absolutely, but not just.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But it really is also a burden to have to throw it off. I mean, that, the burden of that when it's unnecessary to have.
Yeah.
Too bad that we have plenty of other things to worry about.
And the length you'd go to like make sure, that you're not that. It's such a futile thing,
So how open today do you think is Israel is really, have the Ethiopian Jews become the Yemenite Jews of yesteryear? Has the Yemenite Jews changed their status because now there's the Ethiopian Jews? I mean, seriously.
No. It's a fair question. I'm laughing. It's not funny.
Does everybody else move up when somebody moves into that?
There's many different. No, it's you're absolutely right. I think Ethiopians are having a very hard time. Naturally, there's many groups like I know Russian children of Russian immigrants or young who moved here when they were children, and they said we experienced such racism, and I believe them. Absolutely. There is still, regardless, I don't like the idea of like giving rating injustices. Right. And because if we get to that, like there's other places we can go, but there is still a stereotypical view of Mizrahi that I can say of North African and Middle Eastern and Yemenite descent Israelis. Still, we still experience that. I still experience that. Sometimes it's very subtle. Sometimes it's very casual, and sometimes it's more so. Sometimes it's like this in an ad on television. There's an Israeli poet and activist of Yemeni descent. His name is Shlomi Chatuka, and one of the things that he does is he calls companies on their representation. Like when they present a picture of a bunch of children and they're all blonde. I don't know where they find all these blonde kids. It's Israel. Like it's not that common, then he asked them to complicate that, not just with Mizrahi, bring Ethiopians, bring disabled children, bring religious children with the kippah, right? Like, and he's actually been doing really great work with that and having some success.
You've brought some very, very poignant and beautiful photographs. I know that you would like to show us. I think, why don't we go to them now?
All right.
Tell us.
Time is flying.
Yes.
Okay. So this is my grandmother. And this is actually, I know I had straight hair when I was, puberty made it curly. Every time I show this, people are like, who is this? This is my grandmother and me, and we're both studying the alphabet. When I was in first grade, and she was, we don't know her age, but when she was in her maybe late 60s, I'm guessing, she decided she wants to learn how to read and write because she never knew. And I love her face here because you kind of see her spirit. And I'm like, in a little bit of a teaching pose, here, Savta, I'll show you how to write. But yeah, I love this photo of us for sure. So this is me dressed in traditional Yemeni clothing. It's probably around the same age. And I write about that picture. Both of these pictures, by the way, are pictures that appear written about in the book. And here, this is, I'm wearing a gurgush, the hood with the coins over my bangs. And the pants and the tunic, the embroidered tunic, that was actually a Purim costume, the holiday where we dress up. This was the extent of my interest in my heritage growing up. It was passed around, the cousins in my family. In fact, I have a picture with this cow outfit the following year, or the year before, That's another picture of my grandmother outside her house. Yeah. Okay, so this is actually an immigration papers of my grandfather and his two wives. I was stunned when I saw that. And it says, you can see, it says wife 25 years, wife 22 years, daughter, and they both have daughters at this point. They both came with daughters. My aunt Rivka was born in Yemen. My grandmother is in the middle. My grandfather is on the left. And the first wife, because my grandmother was the second wife, is on the right. And I said, when I was reading that excerpt, I said that she walked away from the marriage. What I didn't say in that particular excerpt, I talk about it later, is that he ended up following her. And he left the first wife, and they ended up, my grandmother and my grandfather lived together until he passed away before I was born. This photo. Okay, so a few years ago, I started looking into, now maybe 15 years or more, when I started being interested in my heritage, and I wanted to, find Haida Nasham. I knew that's where we're from, and I wanted to, see some photos, read about it, and I couldn't find anything. When you transliterate a word in Arabic, I probably didn't spell it right. And then one day, suddenly this photo came up. And I was just stunned by that. It suddenly became a real place, Until then, it was just like an imaginary place in my, that it didn't exist. And then I found Zion Ozeri, and I really encourage you all to go and look up his website. Zion Ozeri, he's a photographer of Yemeni descent, Jewish Yemeni descent, who goes around and photographs places around the world where Jewish communities live. And he went back in 91. He was able to go to Yemen and actually visit the village where his father came from. It was an incredible experience. And he's the only person I know who've taken photos of Haida Nasham. And of course, I found later that he's related to me by marriage, because all Yemenis are related unless proven otherwise. And he's also a lovely man. And it's another picture by Zion. And here you see that architecture I was mentioning, the mud hut. And they built, mud huts that are not just huts, they're like buildings. And what they did is they grabbed mud and mixed it with straw and dried it, made it into a brick and dried it in the sun. And that's how they built palaces, like this one. So the mountains around Haida Nasham were freckled with caves and all kind of silversmiths and, artisans made their shop there. And also the rabbi or the mori was teaching there the little boys to read the Torah. And you can see, because they always sat in a circle around it, they were able to read from every side. They were able to read upside down or sideways. And there's a little girl on the side, and she is not learning the Torah. So this is, again, a picture I speak about in the book. It's a picture of my family, my grandfather and my grandmother. And my mom is on the very right, the little one with the sulky face. And my aunt, the tall one, she's the one who was born in Yemen. The rest were born in Israel. Again, some family pictures. My mom is on the very left, next to my grandmother, my grandfather, my uncle, and my father is on the very right. It's in the Wailing Wall. I love this picture of them. It's just my mom making a silly face and my father looking at her lovingly. And that's their wedding day. That's my mom. On our left is her sister, her younger sister. The twins are my father's sisters. And on the right is her niece, Malka, who's no longer with us, unfortunately. And that's their wedding day again. And that's just a picture of my father and I. That's another picture that I describe in the actual book in the chapter about him. It's one of my most precious items. And that's it.
Oh, so
Wow.
so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing them.
Yes, thank you, Ayelet, and thank you, Miriyam. That was such a wonderful conversation. And I'm
Thank
so
you.
happy to be able to jump back in, and we have lots of questions from the audience. So we're going to take some of those now. First of all, there were lots of comments about how much people enjoyed your book, first of all, and questions about where to purchase the book. So I can let everyone know that it's easily available on Amazon. If you prefer not to buy from Amazon, I think most bookstores in the United States can find it or order it for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there were a couple questions about whether your father's poems are available either in English or in Hebrew, if they're available for people to read.
So I actually translated a few of them in the book. It was kind of a tribute, a way for me to, give him that kind of audience, which is more than he probably could have imagined. He did publish his book. He didn't. His friends did after his death. But I don't think it's widely available. It's one of those things you'll probably have to find like in some, yeah.
Is that something you might think of translating yourself, more of his poems?
Maybe one day. Yeah, I really enjoyed doing it, but it wasn't easy. And I write about it in the book that it wasn't easy because his language was very rich. He wrote in an almost, it kind of was reminiscent of, like biblical language. It was very rich. It wasn't easy to translate. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll look forward to that whenever.
Thank you. That's really nice.
It might happen. So there were a number of questions about language, Hebrew, English. Someone asked, what language do you dream in? There was also a question about, do you journal a diary in English or in Hebrew? And the person who asked about the dream question said, she remembered her father telling her after he immigrated to the United States from Europe, at what point he started to dream in English. That was kind of a turning point.
Dreams are not really that linear. Weird things happen, languages get mixed up. I can't really answer that. I think both languages happen in my dreams, and sometimes people would speak in a language that it's not the language they speak. Like it's not, you know what I mean? It's not like life in that sense. So yes, I dream in both languages and in no language. But as far as there was another thing I wanted to say about journaling. That's right. Yeah. I don't journal so much anymore. It feels to me like the time that I have to write is so precious, and I'm very busy. I teach a lot, and then I'm a parent, and so I try to, when I do write, I try to write, creatively. But I found, especially since moving back to Israel, that I feel like I need to protect my English. I'm nervous, I'm immediately worried that something's going to happen to my English, because I'm like, I've seen it happen to my Hebrew, that was my mother tongue, and I moved away, and suddenly so I actually I make an effort. I rarely write poetry, for example, but the other day I had a poetic moment, and there was a second of like, I could do it in either language, but I chose English. So I feel like I'm kind of, I'm protecting it a little bit. And so if I can, I would write in English. If I'm asked, I write in Hebrew. And I'm happy to do it. And I enjoy it. But I feel like English needs to be, this is my career now. This is what I write in. And one last thing I want to say about this, because when I say this is my career, it sounds like it's more of a mind decision, but that's not it. Like, I think if I wanted to, really, really wanted to write in Hebrew, I would just do it, but English still holds interest for me. it's still, some of that freshness, I still feel it. So for now, anyway, yeah.
Okay. And someone asked a question, and I think you've talked about this a little bit, but about how the experience of migrating influenced or changed the experience of writing in English. And you talked a little bit, it seems to me, about how it was sort of like a fresh start in a way. But I don't know if there's something you want to elaborate on.
I think the only thing that I can add to that is that there's actually something that made sense, I think, in the marriage between the theme and the language that I use to convey it. In writing stories that are very much about migration and about belonging, it almost made sense that I would write it in a language that is foreign to me. And then when I used Hebrew words in the text, and sometimes Arabic and sometimes other languages, but mostly I would say Hebrew and Arabic, I also didn't italicize them because I wanted them to just sort of migrate into the text and make themselves known. So there were some things that, yes, it did. I think it does definitely work together. And there was something else I wanted to say about it, but I don't remember now.
Okay.
But
well,
yeah.
Maybe it will come back to you.
Maybe.
And also, Miriyam, just jump in if you have comments from, teaching foreign literature in Israel and things that you want to add. There were a number of questions about the position of Mizrahim in Israel today, how that's changed. Also, someone asked about the Yemeni children's affair, affair of potentially kidnapping of Yemeni children in the early 1950s, early years of the state, and was your family affected by that? And also about other Mizrahim who've left Israel because they didn't see themselves reflected in the culture and have not come back. And what was it? And maybe you said it was family, but what was it, that helped you reconcile with Israel and come back and feel home there?
So for me, it's important to note, and I think I said that in the excerpt that I read, that my leaving Israel wasn't such a political choice. It was, I drifted, I didn't really make a decision. I was traveling, I was, searching for something, and I found myself away from it. It makes sense looking back, why it happened as it happened. It makes sense that I felt, first of all, rootless because of my loss, and also because there's something like the feeling of marginalization, but it wasn't that decision. It wasn't very conscious at the time. So for me, in a sense, I wanted to come back also to be able to make a decision. I was like, I'll come back to Israel, and I'll that's the only way I can really be sure, because I thought that that's maybe why I wasn't able to let go of it. That I kept writing about it. I kept missing it. It wasn't over for me. And I know other Israeli immigrants that left, and they were just, that was it. They're happy, and I was happy, and I still couldn't entirely, leave that idea of Israel behind. So I came back mostly to give it a fair shot, to really try and see if this is something I can do. And I was very non-committal when I first did that. And that's why, you asked me, I was like, are you splitting your time? I was, at first I was kind of, I didn't bring a lot of things. I wasn't sure. But now it's 2.5 years. And I think for now, it's still non-committal, but for now we're staying. Yeah.
Well, that leads me to a question of my own about your partner, who's Canadian. And
that's right.
What has his experience been of Israel? What does he make of the country, the culture?
Yeah. So the interesting thing about Sean is that he actually came to Israel even before he knew me. So he really, he said that if he told his 23-year-old self that he would end up living here, that wouldn't sound so crazy to him. You know what I
Wow.
mean? Like when he first came here and loved it and worked on a boat in Eilat. Over the years that we were, when we were together before, when we still lived in Canada, we'd come here for a couple months at a time. So we would rent or sublet a place for a couple months, come here in the winter, because his work would shut down in the winter and I was able to work from everywhere. So by the time we moved here, he already spent quite a lot of time here. It wasn't completely new. So it wasn't as big of a culture shock, and he's also just an adventurous person that likes to travel and, and easygoing and,
Right.
likes
And he
the sun.
speaks some Hebrew now, I would imagine.
Speaks a little bit now, yeah.
And your daughter speaks both Hebrew and English?
She always spoke both. Yeah, she always spoke both. Now I would say she speaks more Hebrew than English, but she's a true bilingual. She just,
So may I jump in now?
Sure. Absolutely.
I'd like to know is, this has been a really powerful, autobiographical book. Where are you going in your writing now?
Oh, I'm working on a novel. Yeah. I love fiction. I always thought fiction was my first love, and my first book was fiction. I didn't even know for the longest time that you could write about your own life. And when I discovered that, I was like, you can do that. And the funny thing is, I actually kind of lived my life making sure I have lots of stories to tell. So it it made sense. It felt to me like the ultimate creative endeavor to sort of craft your life experience into art and translate them into art. Everything was already translation. I was living in translation. So it made sense to sort of mine it and make it, make it into a beautiful thing. I love that. I love that idea. And only recently, way after the book was published, I was like, oh, maybe I also wanted to be able to become a character. It was kind of like the dream of the child that was reading and, was immersed in books. I was like, there you go. Now you're also a character in a book. So yeah, that was a new thing that I only started doing in English. I'd never written nonfiction before. I'd written articles, but not. Yeah, it never occurred to me. But I'm really excited to go back to fiction because I'm sick of me.
Well, Ayelet, someone asked about whether The Art of Leaving is going to be translated into Hebrew. I know you and I talked about this a little bit, and I'm curious about the translation of your first book into Hebrew.
Yeah.
How you find a translator, how you feel about the translation when you read it in Hebrew, some of those translation issues.
Yeah, so The Best Place on Earth was translated. I don't, the publisher was the one who picked a translator. I was happy with her work, but they wanted me to do it. I didn't want to do it. And the reason I didn't want to do it is because translating your own book is like writing it into your mother tongue, writing it all over again. And that did not sound like fun to me, to write the book a second time, especially when I'm already like immersed in writing the second book, right? Exactly. So I didn't, and I didn't have the time, I had a baby at the time. It didn't seem to make sense to me. But what I did do is I ripped her translation apart. Kindly. I liked what she did. I said I ripped it apart, but not because it wasn't good. It was good, but sometimes I just liked a different word. And sometimes sentences, I wanted to add to it. I got the free hand to do that. And the result, I think, made it so the book feels very much my own. I think if translation is like cousins, In this case, it would be like siblings. They're very close. Like when Israeli people ask me what to read, I said, don't feel bad if you read the translation. It's fine. You know, it's now with the art of leaving. I said no at first because okay, so I'm not the first person to do that. I don't know if you know the story about Etgar Keret. Etgar Keret is an Israeli writer. He wrote a memoir called The 7 Good Years, I think it's called.
Yeah, something.
He wrote it in Hebrew. It got translated into English and a few other languages, but it was never published in the original language in which it was written. He never published it in Hebrew.
Really?
Because, he never published it in Hebrew because he felt it was too close to home and he just didn't want to. And I felt the same thing. I wasn't sure if I was ready. I'm starting to think about it again. I might, I like the idea, of course, of being read in Hebrew. I'm just, I'm still thinking.
It's very much a diaspora experience.
Yeah.
It's very much about journeying out of Israel. And Hebrew translation is like the journey, But
you can argue that it's also an important story for Israelis to hear, like in that sense.
Israelis do just what you did.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, after the
And it's a Mizrahi book, which is also important. But in other words, I'm scared of my mom. Let's just make it clear.
Yeah. I can understand that.
Someone asked about if there still are Jews living in Yemen, and if not, if most Yemeni Jews now live, many in Israel and other places, is the culture safe from, not dying out?
I just read actually that the very last few were deported by the Yemeni government. It's really, really sad. There was only a few dozens, and apparently they were kicked out. It just happened.
Where were they sent?
I think to Saudi Arabia, maybe.
Oh my God! From Yemen to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, that's. I just read about it very recently. Because of all the countries in turmoil. The country is it's
would the Israeli government try to bring them, help them to come to Israel?
I don't think these people were interested in coming to Israel, and I've heard that before. There's some of them who felt like going to Israel would destroy, like they don't, they think that we don't live right. Like it's a secular place, and it just, they were trying to hold on to this traditional lifestyle over there. The few dozens that are left, like obviously most people are gone. It's a very small number. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very sad.
Yeah, very sad. It's like the end of an era.
And there was one question about, and maybe we're going to have to close here, but in terms of, I think it relates to preserving the culture, but someone asked about the difference between Mizrahi and Sephardi and Yemenite. I mean, are they all sort of looked at as one big, similar culture, or differences? And is the younger generation, both in music and poetry and other ways, picking up on their grandparents' culture and reviving?
Yeah. Okay, so first of all, in Israel nowadays, the term Mizrahi is most commonly used. It's Mizrahi and Ashkenazi. These are the common terms. Mizrahi is just a general term for North African, Middle Eastern descent, and Yemenis fall under that. When people say Sephardi in Israel nowadays, they mean like, those who are like from Spain, like, the Jews that were expelled. Like these are very specific, and that's it. We would still say maybe a Sephardic style prayer, like it would be used like that. But very few people in Israel, I know in the world it's still more common, but in Israel, very few people would identify as that. unless they are, like some of those Jerusalemites that have moved here in the 16th century and are, actually Sephardic.
Right.
That's just the distinction nowadays. Yes, there is such a great movement right now in Israel, especially with music. It's beautiful. There's artists like Neta El Kayam, Moroccan singer who speaks and sings in Moroccan. There's Awa, the band of 3 Yemenite sisters who are singing, Yemenite women's songs that I mentioned. Dudu Tassa actually used recordings of his father and uncle.
Right, from
and
Iraq.
Iraq, yeah, they were called Al-Kuwaitis, and he actually incorporated into new music, and his mom singing. So yeah, there's some really beautiful movement to reclaim those traditions. And in poetry too, there's a lot more Mizrahi poets nowadays that are worth following, like Yonit Naaman, Adi Keisar, Teila Hakimi, Shlomi Chatuka, Eli Eliyahu. So there is, kind of a renaissance of that, which is really exciting.
Right.
Yeah.
And some of that is, for our audience, is translated into English.
Some of it is translated. Yeah. I've translated some of it too, which is kind of my way again of, using, like helping out some of these voices to be heard in the world, if I can.
Right. Well, thank you. Well, I think we have to leave it there. I think we could go on talking for a long, long time.
Yes.
But I want to thank again our beautiful speakers, Ayelet Tsabari and Rabbi Miriyam Glazer. And I want to thank the American Jewish University, the Helen Diller Institute, and the UCLA Departments of English and Comparative Literature. And especially I want to thank all of our audience for joining us for this wonderful program. A recording of the program will be posted on the Nazarian Center website and on our YouTube channel. And please check our website for more programs coming up in May, and have a wonderful afternoon or evening, wherever you may be. And thank you so much. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Bye,
so
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.